did it wrong, what would that be? And do you know what I would do? Do you know?
No.
No, of course you don't know, because you don't even know me yet. Yeah, so that's why I'm going to introduce myself a little bit. Okay, so to get started, the first thing about me that you need to know is, like, I love sports. Any kind of sports. I do swimming, I play ping pong, I did a little bit tennis, and any kind of sports. And actually, I just got off on a volleyball game. So, how did this all get started? You have to date back to about 15 years ago. That's when I started learning swimming. And the reason why I started learning swimming was not because I wanted to be Olympics like Michael Phelps. No. The reason why I swim was because I want to cure my asthma. I have a really bad, they attacked me when I was little. So it actually did help. And actually I was really good at swimming at that time. So moving on. When I go to elementary school, I started playing ping pong, which is known as table tennis. And yeah, we practiced really hard as an elementary school student. We practiced so hard that we have to sweat like every day, and it smelled really bad after the practice. But the work still paid off, because eventually I got a really good prize at the end. Let me tell you how good I was. So here was this national game, and they were going to pick 8 people out of 150 competitors, and I got the 9th place. Yeah, it was just only one game away for me to being a national player, and maybe I just be Olympics some days, and I will not be here to speak to you guys. So, yeah, it was. I regret, because it was so close. I wouldn't even say it was a game away. It was a couple balls away from me winning that contest, winning that competition. So after that game, I got into a really bad injury of my ankle, and I started losing the passion for table tennis, and I dropped off when I go to middle school. So do I stop exercising or doing sports when I go to middle school? Of course not. I jumped back into the pool again, and I was on the swim team, and we have a really good big family. We practice really hard. We have to swim about like 5,000 to 7,000 meters per day. It was exhausting at the time. Every day after practice, I was almost dying. So, my mom always asked me, why do you have to do sports? If it was so tired, it was so tiring. Why do you do that? What I would say is that actually after the practice, after every single practice, and you feel like you make progress, you swim faster, you swim smoother, and you're getting better and better, that kind of feeling was the best. So after I graduated from middle school, I made a really big decision. A really big decision. It's not about sports. It's not about anything else. It's about going abroad to become an exchange student. It was hard at first, because I was like, my mom, she pushed me into this program. She told me that you should join this, and you have to go abroad, and broaden your horizon. I was freaking out at the time. It was so scary. I was like, why are you throwing me away? You don't love me anymore? But no, of course she loved me. So here I am. I was in Michigan, United States. It was a beautiful memory in my life. I met lots of good friends and had a really nice host family, and went back visit them a couple times. It was just a perfect memory for me. It was the perfect life in there, but at the same time it was not as perfect, because I encountered some difficulties, some obstacles. It's like when the first time people asked me, hey, what's your name? And you know how Taiwanese would say, they would be like, my name is Minnie. You can tell the accent is different. They say, you mean the mini tiny or Minnie? Can you tell the difference? At that time, I cannot tell the difference. I was like, yeah, my name is Minnie. Is that really different? So that's how I got started. I was so afraid at first when I was going to talk to people. I would be like, does that sound weird? Does that make sense to you? Do you understand what I'm talking about? So that kind of feeling is really, really freaking me out at that time. But after I practice, after listening to people, I make progress and I actually become a really good speaker. Not exactly really good, but I'm improving. Anyway, so go back in time and look back in my life. Do I regret anything? And if I can go back and change something, what would I do? Here's a little bit story when I was in the States. I met this guy, and I was in love with him. So in love with him. But I didn't get a love return. He was in love with somebody else. He was dating someone else. But when after that point, some people tell me that actually he liked me for a little bit. I was so surprised and excited. And I often thought back when I was thinking that if I told him that I like him at that time, would we be happy ever after? Would we be together? Would that be so nice? That I can have the dream guy in my life? So when I go back to my time, what would I change? Would I told him that I like him? Or I don't know. What if I do that? What if I did this? What if I go back to 15 years ago and I win a single game? That couple balls away. Would my life just be so much better? Would it? But I don't know. No one can promise this. And like we Christians always say, that God has a perfect plan for us. And everything happens for a reason. And everything happens for the right time. He has the perfect timing for everything. So if I go back in time, you ask me, what would I change? I would say nothing. Because I don't regret being the Minnie I am right now. Toastmaster of the evening.